This week on the show.
Because the first semester we were told that we're going to start coding in Java. And that was crazy. It's like, what? I actually showed up to class without a computer because I thought it was, the name was so misleading. So I didn't bring a computer, and the professor looked at me like, are you crazy? We're going to start coding. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Baibolov.
I think there's always a choice. Creatively, I'm at this point where if I don't feel like working with that person, especially when it comes to like freelance projects and stuff, I just say no. And it's okay to say no, because your time and energy and it's bad for mental health, and mental health is paramount when it comes to in life. It's just very important.
Visual designer, artist, storyteller, I feel like you're a different kind of artist that like takes advantage of this new age of technology and everything, and that's really fascinating to me.
Thank you.
All the way from Kyrgyzstan.
Mostly digital, actually, but there are times when I use, paper and different techniques. But yeah, sometimes it's digital, sometimes it's English left the chat, but digital, sometimes it's analog. Excuse me.
Great joke. I'm just gonna steal that one. Let's talk to Baibolov on the Very Creative Podcast. Baibolov, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you in the world right now?
I am currently in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, my hometown. Yeah, in the Kyrgyz Republic.
Yeah. You moved around a lot during this pandemic, haven't you?
Yes, right. That only person who keeps traveling. I spent my summer in Turkey. I mean, half I spent in Toronto, and then the other half I spent in Turkey. And then when the borders opened up, we traveled to Kyrgyzstan. And that's where I am right now. Yeah. Yeah.
So introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, I sell like long walks on the beach. No, I'm kidding. My name is Ice. I am originally from Kyrgyzstan, Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. But over the course of my lifetime, I lived in the United States, Canada, France, Kazakhstan. And then right now I'm studying at OCAD University in Toronto, doing my master's in interdisciplinary masters in art, media, and design. That was a mouthful. And doing art and design, freelancing, being a TA, all that jazz,
That's honestly, that's so impressive. Because you were telling me at one point, I'm doing my studies in France. I was like, damn, that's great. And then I'm doing my master's. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. And your projects that we'll discuss here are also equally great. And I'm so impressed by you. So you went to Toronto you're in Toronto for school, and then you when the pandemic happened, you went to Turkey, and then you went to Kyrgyzstan, right? So what's the situation in every country, and how are you handling the pandemic?
Honestly, in Turkey, it feels safe. I feel like first of all, masks are mandatory there. So I don't know, people are following the rules. It's not like the United States where people are rioting against masks or anything like that. In Kyrgyzstan,
Here too.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no.
Yeah, we have a small population in Quebec that, likes to do that.
I live in Quebec. Oh, God, no, I'm not going to get political. In Kyrgyzstan,
I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
I think it's the French spirit, revolutions, let's protest. Yeah. But in Kyrgyzstan, it's okay. The cases keep going up, but I think here it feels like it doesn't exist. It's really bad. But I don't know, people are just living with it. But a lot of people were sick during the summer, and
Right.
I don't want to say there's herd immunity, but who knows? Because a lot of people were sick in the summer. It was really bad. And there was it was almost like Italy, or even worse than Italy, because the healthcare system just collapsed at once. Now it's a little better. People have a better way of treating it and know how to treat it.
Right.
There are talks about bringing in the Russian vaccine. I don't know. I don't want
There's
to
a
be an
lot of talks about
anti-vaxxer. A lot of
vaccines.
talks. Yeah, but everyone's just talking about the Russian vaccine, so I don't know. But cases keep going up, but we can't afford a lockdown, so we're just living with it.
We can't either. We have a small lockdown right now that it's like restaurants are closed, bars are closed. And they tried it for 28 days. It didn't get better. So they're trying it again for 28 days. We'll see what happens. Right now, at this time of the recording, we're in November 1st. But yeah, it's not good. It's not really good right now. It doesn't seem to be getting better. It's kind of strange. And this world is going through a economy crisis, which was going to be great, I guess. Fun. That was sarcastic.
Time, right?
Yeah. Wow.
What a great time to be alive, right?
Yeah. So how are you, before we move on to your art, we're moving on to your art, but I'm just wondering how are you handling this situation creatively right now?
I feel like everyone is so demotivated, but when it comes to coping, like I think creativity is my coping mechanism, and if I'm not making something for school, I'm at least freelancing, and when I'm not freelancing, I'm doing something else. But yeah, I feel like I need to channel that energy.
Right.
Even frustrations, I channel them creatively and make something. Because when I don't make something, one, I feel unproductive, and two, that energy, I don't know where to put it. So I guess I'm making things. I don't want to say I'm actively making things because I'd be lying, but just, tinkering with things. I don't want to say like I'm so productive. I'm making things, I'm writing and drawing nonstop.
Yeah.
No, but, even making logos and doing branding for different brands and stuff. It's still creative. It's still making things. And if I'm not doing stuff for school, but I mean, for school right now, I'm in the middle of my, doing my master's thesis. So, reading things and learning new things and trying new techniques and mediums. Yeah.
Right.
How are you handling it? Oh, congrats on your book. By the way, I wanted to say it in person.
Thank you so much. GabrielVeiga.com. It's going great creatively right now. Like I said on this podcast before, it's been hard at the beginning of the pandemic. It was hard, and I'm just getting back into it and just accepting that this will be a long-term thing, apparently, and just trying to do like I do in regular times, if there ever was a regular time. So yeah, just pushing through it, and just doing it. And I haven't been writing, but I'm supposed to be writing my second book right now. So yeah, we'll do that in time. But I was busy with this podcast and other stuff. So yeah, and a lot of TV watching.
I mean, TV helps out, especially with writing, especially creative writing.
Yeah.
I think you're still doing something productive. I'm just here to tell you that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So you said on your website that you're a multidisciplinary artist. What does that mean?
I am a multidisciplinary designer, and I use different mediums, technologies, and techniques to create visual stories. Yeah.
Right. So is it mostly digital, or there's also like painting or something like you do with hand? Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly digital, actually, but
Okay.
there are times when I use, paper and like, different techniques. But yeah,
Right.
sometimes it's digital, sometimes it's oh, English left the chat, but digital, sometimes it's analog. Excuse me.
Great
Yeah.
joke. I'm just gonna steal that one.
Sorry.
I love it. Yeah. So yeah, mostly digital that you do. That's cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. It's
Thank you.
I feel like you're a different kind of artist that like takes advantage of this new age of technology and everything, and that's really fascinating to me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how did you get into that? Yeah. How did you get into that?
Okay.
Digital arts.
So, we went to the same college, Dawson, and
Yeah.
there I was majoring in visual arts. So that means
Right.
like classic art, painting, sculpture, drawing, and stuff. And then at some point, I decided to transfer. And honestly, I knew that there was some technology involved, but I didn't know it was that, technologically advanced. Because the first semester, we were told that we're going to start coding in
Right.
Java. And that was crazy. It's like, what? I actually showed up to class without a computer because I thought it was the name was so misleading. So I didn't bring a computer, and the professor looked at me like, "Are you crazy? We're gonna start coding." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, interesting. Okay." And that's how I got into it. Almost,
That's so
I won't say by
scary.
mistake, but accidentally. I didn't know that there was coding involved.
Yeah.
But the whole program was quite interesting because every semester was dedicated to like 1 to 2 topics. So, for example, the first semester was typography and graphic design. Then
Right.
the second was JavaScript and 3D modeling and stuff. So it was very versatile in terms of, different technologies and mediums. And that's how I got into it, through my university. But when I was studying visual art at Dawson, I felt like there was something lacking. I just felt like there was like something missing. So when I went to Parsons, at first I hated it. Honestly, I
That's
can't
in France,
code,
right?
I can't do. Yeah, that's in France. So I studied at Parsons, the Parsons School of Design, but the French campus, and studied there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into digital art and digital making, design, and that kind of stuff.
Were you already passionate about technology and new ways of? No, not at all.
No.
You were just
Not
like,
really.
Java, what is this? And you just got into it and fell into it, I guess.
I'm not gonna say I'm a crazy good programmer. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm pretty mediocre at that. I'm not even mediocre. I don't like it, but I love making things digitally, and I get the logic, which is good. And I know the possibilities of technology, and I think that's a
Right.
good takeaway from the program is that you know what's possible and what's not in through technologies and like different innovative things and different mediums. If I want, because they give you a toolkit essentially,
Right.
and you decide how to use it. And for example, getting into Instagram filters, or Snapchat filters, and making these things and knowing how to access, all the APIs and all the all the tutorials. And that's how I got passionate about it. But before I got into Parsons, not really. I didn't even know how to use Illustrator, barely knew how to use Photoshop.
Right.
So the first semester I was there, I drew everything by hand because I was scared to use InDesign and Illustrator and Photoshop. I was too scared.
Right.
So yeah, that was a tough year.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like that's crazy. Like I wouldn't be able. I love technology and I'm good at it. I just it's scary. It's a challenge. It must have been so scary.
It's still scary, but yeah, it's still scary at times.
Well, you're doing well. So.
Oh, thank you.
Nothing stays buried forever, especially not the past.
Yesterday is Not Yet Gone, a mystery novel by Gabriel Veiga, host of the Very Creative Podcast. Available now, paperback and digital. GabrielVeiga.com. Buy it now.
Yeah. So were you always an artist? Where did you grow up, and what was your like? How did you become an artist? Were you born like that?
I was just born this way. No, okay, I'm not a prodigy if you're going that way. No, I grew up and my parents, we had a teacher, a private tutor, who taught us, just not even like classical art, you got to start with figure drawing. No, honestly, just a teacher would come in and she would teach us how to, draw. And she was so interesting. I just find her so inspirational because instead of drawing, we would just sit and draw, and she would like retell all the Harry Potter books to us.
Yeah, right.
Like, she knew them by heart. She was such an incredible person. She still is, but like we lost touch. But she's such an incredible artist and person, and she was much older, but she was still a child at heart, which is so incredible. She loved playing Sims. She loved Harry Potter books. She taught, she would tutor students and stuff, and she was just so free. And I found her super inspirational. I think she actually got me into, drawing and stuff.
Right.
So after that, lots of traveling. And when we got to the States, I moved to the States when I was in the 8th grade. And that was the craziest time. When you move, all of a sudden you move in the middle of a semester, and I knew some English, right? I spoke some English, but it was not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So you're almost like a fish, or like a dog, just walking around. Like, you hear things, you kind of understand, but yet, no, you can't have conversations with people. So I found an outlet for that, and I started drawing and, just making things. And I think I feel like it was such an emotional, like an explosion of emotions. So channeling it into drawing and making things was my way of coping with all the shock and all the, honestly, depression from moving places and not being able to communicate, not having friends, and also being bullied. So that was a way of coping with all of that. Yeah.
That's exactly why I fell into the arts. Me too. Like I was bullied a lot in high school and in school in general. And I already had this like imagination in my head and this internal world. But I just escaped in that, and I just fell into it, and that was my coping mechanism too. And
exactly.
And turns out I really, really love it, and I always did, and I get it. And there's a lot of artists that are the same. It's really interesting. Like, it's an escape. Like,
exactly.
That's how it begins. Sometimes, most times. Yeah.
You just want to create a different world, and you escape into that world, and it's great.
Yeah, I was having this conversation on another episode, and we were questioning if it's healthy or not. What do you think?
What exactly, though? Like, escaping?
Is it healthy escaping into, instead of dealing with things?
I think it is healthy because
I think so. I think so too.
Sometimes you just can't. I mean, sometimes reality is just so tough that escaping into another world is the only way. Almost, I don't say the only way, but sometimes it's the healthiest way almost.
Yeah.
Because dealing with it, I don't know. I can't imagine myself being like, bully, stop bullying. Do you tell the entire school?
No, exactly. No, but I used to fall back into escapism and art because I didn't want to fight with people. I just didn't want to I was in weak, but I just didn't want to do it, So I just turned to art and turned to other things and turned to sometimes loneliness. That's the only sometimes not healthy part is loneliness. That's kind of sad, and but it makes us stronger, I guess, sometimes too.
Yeah, For sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, at some point you start enjoying alone
Right.
time and being lonely because, yeah, and also kids are mean. They're not going to stop if you tell them
No.
to stop. So,
No.
you know.
They'll mostly laugh at you at that age and just,
Oh, yeah. They're like, oh, you write books. But yeah.
oh, you don't like that we bully you. Oh, ho, ho. Yeah.
Yeah, kids are mean. But, you know, they tend to grow out of it. That's good, right?
Some of them do.
It's slowly this conversation just went the other way. Like,
Anyway, so yeah, but I wanted to mention that because I relate to you so much on that, and I think that's really interesting. So were your parents artists too, or no?
No, I mean my mom, she did draw as a child a
Right.
lot. My dad, he sings very well, and I think this is where I get my liking of singing. But yeah, no, not really. My older brother, so I guess it's from my mom's side. My older brother, he also drew a lot.
Right.
But he stopped. He just kind of, you know, abandoned it. But I decided to just go for it. Plus, I'm the middle child, so I can do whatever the hell I want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of your brother writes?
My little brother.
Okay.
Yeah, my youngest brother, actually the last child, and he is he also draws very well.
Okay.
Actually a little even better than me, but to go in the other direction, you know. But
is he better than you at coding?
I think. I mean, I'm not good at coding at all, so I don't know where you're going with this. But thank you for trying.
No, I was just asking if he was better than you, or if you were jealous of him because he was better than you at coding.
No, I'm so happy because it's just I feel like I'm a perfectionist, but also I doubt myself when I make things sometimes. Right. But he just like, you know, those people who just confidently, like, you know, put pen to paper and they just start making things. I'm not like with them. I got a plan and I want things to be perfect right away. I don't like, my thinking is not the same, meaning I want to sit down, make it, it's perfect, and I just submit it. That's it. But it doesn't happen. It never happens. So I don't know what I'm expecting, but I'm expecting perfection every single time.
Well, yeah, that's the other conversation. Perfection is something we all strive for, but and sometimes it can drive us really crazy. I speak for myself, but I know you can relate. It's no, we always strive for perfection, and it's something we should strive for, honestly. But like I always say on this podcast, it's something we need to stop at some point because we can't make things perfect. People are not perfect. Things will not be perfect either.
No, I'll try to
you,
remind you.
You seem sad by that fact.
We'll see. I was like, things are not perfect. I don't know.
Oh boy. Okay. So let's talk about something. First of all, is there a project that you're really proud of before we talk about the bride kidnapping that you did before that?
Yeah, there's one project I absolutely love, and I did it in collaboration with a friend and a classmate of mine, Chris Madden, and it's Ni Hao My Ass. I don't know if you got to see that project. It's an automated collab back at racist catcalling. It is on my website. It's called Ni Hao My Ass.
Can we show it? Can we show the picture?
Of course.
Hold on.
It's the one with the red underwear.
This one? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
So
for those who are listening, can you describe what it is? Yeah.
Yeah. So Ni Hao My Ass is a wearable device for Asian women identifying people who experience racist catcalling. And that idea came to us because I and other Asian friends of Chris, we complained to her about, you know, our experiences in France and in Europe in general.
Right.
how people would greet us, or just, catcalling in the streets. They would call us, like, they would try to grab our attention with ni hao in Mandarin.
Yeah.
And, I'm not Chinese. So, and like Koreans would get ni haos. So we've decided to do a project where like we tried finding a way to clap back at racist catcallers,
Right.
but in a non-verbal manner and a non-confrontational manner. So
Right.
we came up with this idea to make a dress with a automated, like a button hidden somewhere. And then when you press that button, the motor on the back lifts up the hem of the dress, and there's red underwear with the message to the racist. And how racist?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Can
So,
people
yeah.
buy that?
I mean, it was kind of no, they can't. But it was just a very fun project to make, and filming around Paris, the Jardin des Tuileries, and it was
Right.
very fun. And yeah, it was really great. I loved it. And these are just sketches, the ones that you're seeing on the screen. These are just sketches of like iterations and our brainstorming session So the idea was make a backpack with a balloon, or make a trench coat that opens up, or make like a bag that has a, what is it called? Oh my gosh, the speaker inside of it. But then we just stopped on the idea of a dress and underwear, because it was literally cheeky, that's one. And it was fun. It was playful, but also quite, sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is,
yeah.
yeah,
If people
it was
wanna
my
see
favorite
that,
project.
well, they can go on. If you're listening to this podcast audio, you can go on YouTube and watch it. We're showing it right now. So yeah, and they can go to your website too.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I like about your art, honestly, because it cares about like issues, and it cares about it's calling out things that are in the world, and that what art is meant to be, in my opinion. Like it's our kind of way of solving things, or try to solve things that are happening in the world, like hypermasculinity, climate change, or whatever, racist catcalling. It's talk a bit about that. What drives you to do that, those kind of art? And because you mentioned that you were experiencing that in France and in Europe, but what in general inspires you to do that?
I feel like, thank you, by the way, for all the praise. What drives me is I feel like I really love hearing people's stories and making art, and just tell stories through visual and audio, like creating. I love creating audiovisual. Sorry, that took a while. Audiovisual experiences that tell stories of people and my own. That's why I call myself a multidisciplinary storyteller and artist and designer, because really, I mean, human history and just history in general, it's all about telling stories and passing it on. Telling stories of people and making an impact when possible, but preserving those memories and creating stories of people that are often unheard, or things that go unnoticed. But I like talking about these things. Yeah.
So that leads me to your. I think it's a great project that you did. Was that for class in France?
Which one? Oh, the Ni Hao Mass?
No,
Yes.
The Bride Kidnapping.
Oh, the Bride Kidnapping was my bachelor's thesis project.
So can you talk about that? That's really cool.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So bride kidnapping, I'm just going to give a brief description of what bride kidnapping is. Bride kidnapping is a practice that happens in Central Asia, in some parts of Central Asia and the Caucasus, and in India as well, I think, and in many parts of the world. And it's a practice of when a man abducts a woman he wishes to marry, And this is a dated custom, and I don't want to say tradition because it's not. And there's still some cases happening today, but it depends on what it is. Sometimes these kidnappings are staged because it's a form of elopement, but sometimes it's like a violent abduction of a human being that is punishable by law, and you can go to prison for up to 7 years and get a big fine for doing that. But there's still cases happening today. And but during the Soviet times, during, you know, all the way until 1991, there were a lot of cases of bride kidnapping happening in Kyrgyzstan. And my research was I interviewed a lot of women in Kyrgyzstan, my country, and I made a 360 short documentary on their experiences, you know, them talking about how it happened, what made them stay, what made them stay with their kidnappers, and what they think about this custom now, you know, after living for so many years with their kidnappers. And so it was, out of all women that I interviewed, I only kept three stories of 3 women. And it was a 8-minute long documentary done in 360, and that was the installation with the curtains, because the curtains also have a meaning in this installation, because when a woman is abducted, she's brought into a home of her future husband, and she's put behind a white curtain. It's like a form of a, you know, almost like a veil, and she sits there for the entire day while guests are coming in and, you know, coming in to see her. And for me, it was like I wanted to create an experience where people go behind that curtain and listen to those women's stories.
So, and what was it like interviewing people? Because interviewing people is one thing, and then interviewing people that have lived trauma is another. How was that? How was that?
You know, because in Kyrgyz culture, you can't ask provocative questions, you know, you can't be too explicit or anything like that. So, and plus, there was some sort of disconnect, I have to be honest, because unfortunately, I don't speak my native language, which is Kyrgyz. So I actually had to travel there with a translator.
You speak Russian, right?
I speak Russian, yes. Okay. But I do understand some Kyrgyz, but it's not as good as I want it to be, and it wasn't as good, you know, it wasn't so good that I can speak to them about these things. And so I went there with the
interviewed them in another language, basically, and then
I interviewed them in Russian, and then they would translate into Kyrgyz. And it was very interesting, and you know, I didn't want to dig in too deep into their trauma, but there were some stories here and there, you know. Most of them are happy with the outcome, and, you know, they have children already, some of them have grandchildren. And there was one lady that actually, it was a form of elopement for her. So she just escaped with her, like with her lover, essentially. And, but then there were like 2 to 3 women who actually had boyfriends, but they were separated because of this custom and they couldn't be together. So that was very sad. But I decided not to go too deep into, you know, I don't want to traumatize people, and hurting them is not my goal. And if they felt comfortable talking about it, then they did. But if they didn't, then I didn't ask them, because, you know, respect people's boundaries and sensibilities.
Yeah, for sure. How was it dealing with because you use 360 technology in this, where to explain to people who haven't seen it on YouTube before, but you see everything, like you can scroll and see everything. So was it liberating to see everything in frame, or did it make it challenging?
I honestly, I like the choice of using 360 for this particular project, because it was a way for me to make people immerse themselves into the environment that they're in. Because when, you know, you're watching, because I feel like with topics like these, it can be quite beneficial to, you know, be inside that world and see for what it is. But with 360 was just a lot of editing, you know, because you have to edit yourself out of the picture, and you have to, you know, deal with lighting and, cropping yourself out, but also the time of day. Because, it's a lot of logistics and, thinking about how you stage it and how you make it work with the lighting, the time of day, where the sun shines, where it doesn't, and that kind of stuff. And also my computer couldn't handle 360 video. So it was just rendering it in After Effects was torture. You would drop it in there, and then after every 5 seconds, it would just freeze, and then it starts working again. You start working again, and it's just, and you can't do anything on the computer, so you just stuck with it. You work on it. So I think,
believe me, I know. Oh, believe me, computer issues, I know. Because doing this podcast has been a challenge through storage and everything through computer and huge files create problems.
With huge files comes huge responsibility.
I can't imagine 360. Crazy.
Yeah. And the higher the quality, the heavier it is, right? So you just have to go for okay quality if you want to do it faster, which I did. Yeah.
Well, now I think I resolved the problem because I have an external drive that takes in everything.
That's good. Yeah. But also, one of my external drives just stopped working and I couldn't extract all the files from there. So be careful. Just a cautionary tale, right? I'm going to be someone's cautionary tale.
Yeah. Thank you. So what did you have ultimately, did you have fun doing this project, and what did you learn from it?
There's so many things that I love looking back at my own work. And as I strive for perfection, when I look back, I'm like, oh, it's not perfect. And I think it's the artist, it's the artist, like the artist's life, essentially. You always have to look back, and you just keep working and working and working on your project. And somehow you always go back to where you started. So I love looking back at my work and, realize what I loved about it, what I didn't like about it, and also realizing your own mistakes.
Right.
At the moment, this is how I time in my master's thesis project, but I'm working on Joseph Stalin's repressions.
Okay.
In Central Asia, specifically in Kyrgyzstan, and forced deportations that happened from the year of 1938 all the way until Stalin's death.
Right.
And I'm talking about, I'm looking at it from the decolonial lens. So when I look back at my project with bride kidnapping, I no longer want to make it, ethnographic or autoethnographic research on women who were kidnapped for marriage. I want to look at it from because ethnography comes from, colonialism, essentially.
Right.
And it's important. And I don't want to extract knowledge from people anymore in the way that I did back then. Extracting knowledge, submit it, that's it, Because I deeply care about my
just
community.
For the audience?
Ethnography is rooted in anthropology, and ethnography is just the studies of people and their customs and cultures.
Okay, right. Okay.
And I feel like I care about my community, and I think that's what everyone should do: care about their communities,
right,
and the stories they share, and of course I have so much gratitude for those women who shared their stories and told everything that they have, and welcomed me to their homes. And Kyrgyz culture is very hospitable and very open to everyone. Yeah. So that's part of it, but also just them sharing their stories and such. And I don't want to say I extracted knowledge from them, because I didn't, but there are many things that I would have done differently if I did the same project now.
What is that?
I don't even know. I just think there are other ways of approaching this, because, but also the setting that I showed it in, and maybe even, I don't want to say comments, just like my own sentiments about certain things.
Right.
I don't want to say judgment. No, I didn't judge them because it's a culture.
Yeah.
But also, I was also looking at things from the Western perspective, which I shouldn't, because I'm not from the West, right? I've adopted the West, but I am from the East.
Congratulations on that project.
Thank you.
That's great.
Nothing stays buried forever, especially not the past.
Yesterday is Not Yet Gone, a mystery novel by Gabriel Veiga, host of the Very Creative Podcast. Available now, paperback and digital. GabrielVeiga.com. Buy it now.
So, what other things have you been working on or have worked on that you're so proud of in digital technology or anything else?
After graduating from university, I did a 6-month internship at Publicist Sapient, and honestly, it was so fun and great, and made me realize that good bosses exist, which is incredible, right? And it was such a amazing community, and I love the company itself. Publicist Sapient is a branch of Publicist Group, which is a huge company that works with advertising and communications.
Where is that?
And that is, Publicists actually, they exist, Publicist Sapient and just Publicists in general. They're all over the world. They have many different offices. There's one in Montreal, actually, and Toronto also has its own office. The headquarters are in France. And I was working in the creative department, and this section, it's called Labs, which was I didn't even know that that kind of office existed, but it's creation of experiences and creative experiences with technology and such for different brands. So it can be like a mobile company or an automotive company or any other company. They can approach Publicist Sapient and we want a physical installation that tells a story about our brand. So they would, and we would brainstorm ideas and come up with different ways of telling stories and making, telling stories of these brands to people. So let's say a car company approaches us and we're like, we've got this new car technology and we want to show it everywhere in Europe in dealerships. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
In dealerships, and we only have, 500 cars for test drives. So but we've got, 5,000 dealerships. What do we do? So we come up with this, installation for this, car brand that gives this virtual experience of a test drive in dealerships that don't get that car for a test drive.
Right.
Which, and we would come up with using virtual reality, using augmented reality, or use an installation where you get to drive like a steering wheel standing up next to a screen or something like that. So you really get to experience these new technologies. Or, like a champagne company approaches you, like we just want a beautiful window display that is interactive. So we would brainstorm ideas and come up with different installations, like sensors, this, that, and stuff like that. And like a mobile company at a tech conference, they want some sort of installation that tells a story about their brands and how they're working with different startups and such. So sorry, I signed an NDA. I can't name companies, but and it was great. Honestly, I think the experience at Publicist was great because the team was amazing. It was a group of 4 people plus me, and the boss is a creative director, and he started out with programming in Java.
Yeah.
And then, he was just incredible and creative. And actually he's on TikTok and he's pretty big.
Really?
Targs. Targz. Targs.
Okay.
And he does drawing with coding and the plotting machine, which is really cool. So if you guys want to see cool art, just check him out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just a quick shout out. But And then the other ones were creative technologists and programmers. So they ended up in this, cool hub, creative hub at Publicist Sapient. And and they were just so welcoming and so creative. And it was an incredible team to work with. And I think it's so important when it comes to creativity and, working somewhere, is that you have to have an incredible team. You have to have that connection with people, and also being welcomed, and also, when they allow you to be creative and they allow you to make decisions, which is great. Even though it was an internship, it felt like a job because I really did feel like I was part of a team. So I didn't bring coffee or anything like that. I actually did stuff, with my own profession, like in my own field, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. You feel kind of, your creativity feels weird when you got no support from people and just doors are closed and, it's like kind of restrictive. So getting support is amazing. I get what you're saying. It's
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not being questioned.
People that understand what you're doing and don't take you for fools, a fool.
Yeah. But yeah, also, I also had my share of, bad experiences when interning and working with people.
Yeah.
And
how was that? Can you, without mentioning names and anything, just
I'm gonna name people.
Tell us about a failure creatively.
So this person, their name is, no, I'm just kidding. Just being micromanaged. That's the worst nightmare, is when people micromanage you, when they question everything.
What do you mean by micromanage?
Oh, they're over your shoulder and like, no, I don't like this. You're like, well, I'm not finished yet. Can you allow me to finish? And then we can talk. Or, do this and then do that. And like, they don't allow you to take all the steps to get to this point. They write every step out for you, even though that's not your, that's not your know-how. Like, it's not the way you do things.
There's no freedom.
You know that there's no freedom whatsoever. They just micromanage every single little step.
Right.
And that is tough, especially in the creative field, because there's so many different ways and there's so many different like methodologies and methods, right?
Yeah.
So when you're when you're managed to every step, it's tough. Yeah.
I don't like that either.
And then it's very tough, and also just when something goes wrong, it's like, did you touch something? Like, no, I didn't. Sorry. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. That's why I just write on my own and just do things on my own most of the time, because it's
that's ideal.
It feels like a lottery ticket when you're trying to work with people. Either you're lucky or not, And
exactly.
Yeah, it's most often than not you're not lucky, and so how do you deal with that? Do you go out the door, or what happened there?
It depends. I mean, usually I go out the door because I think there's always a choice. And I feel like creatively, I'm at this point where if I don't feel like working with that person, especially when it comes to like freelance projects and stuff, I just say no. And it's okay to say no, because your time and energy and your time and energy are not worth it, because you're also using up your emotions, and it's bad for mental health, and mental health is paramount when it comes to in life. It's just very important, especially right now. 2020 is horrible, so mental health above everything else.
And especially for creatives, because creativity and the creative world is really hard. It's hard. It's fun to do, and it's amazing, and it's great for you. But to do it as a career, it's really hard, and it can take a lot of your. You can give up sometimes, and you can. And what keeps me going is not to give up and to see the better days, to see that if I keep working at it, it's going to be great. And it's important to sometimes, especially if you're creative, to take step backs and say, if I work with these people or if I work on my own, which option is better?
Yeah,
Which option is better? Sometimes you have to because you want a job and you want to do things, but sometimes you got to make sacrifices too and be like, my mental health is more important than that, Yeah. So I think that's important to tell people that whatever situation you're in, your mental health is better than anything. Believe me, if you're good at what you do and the right person or the right medium will come to you and the right thing will come to you, even if you do it on your own.
Yeah. And you just got to keep doing you and just keep experimenting and making things.
But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Don't wait for the knock on the door. Just keep working on it.
Yeah. I wish there was a knock on the door.
I wish that
it would have made things so much easier, right?
Yeah. But like I said on this podcast before, even if there's a knock on the door, you got to keep. That's not it's a lottery ticket, but you got to keep working at it. Because you don't want to lose it, and you want to be better every time.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no limit.
Yeah. So.
One day I'll be perfect.
That's the goal. Always striving to be perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The ultimate goal,
Yeah. I don't think it will happen, but that's just my argument.
Just when I'm 90, just like my perfect design.
Oh no, you're going to be so proud to look at your work at that time of what you achieved. Yeah.
Thank you. Hopefully.
So do you want to talk about what are your goals and career-wise and everything? What drives you? What's your number one thing you want to accomplish, let's say?
One thing. Oh, there are many things. There are many goals, and I think.
Or many, yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to short-term goals, I want to graduate, right? But I want to. At some point, I want to become open up my own creative agency. I really want to do that, and I want to branch out internationally. So have different offices in different locations, like one in Moscow and then one in Toronto and stuff like that, one in Europe. I really want that. And, awesome. Create, do stuff for brands, but also, do charity when it comes, different forms of charity. I really want to help out communities here in Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. And, when it comes to like maybe in 3 years, I want to be an art director.
Yeah.
And but when the big goal is have a creative agency and do stuff internationally. I really want to do that.
Right.
Just I want to make things and be happy and actually get paid for what I do.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the goal for everyone, honestly.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually having a profession that you enjoy and love.
Right.
I want to have that. And I do love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and be happy. I am happy. Yeah.
Right. Is there, because you seem to be doing a lot of art, a lot of different things. You seem to be all over the place in terms, not that it's a bad thing, but all over the place in your art and everything. Are you like that with your goals? Like me, I want to do, I don't want only to write. I want to do so many other things in my life. Like writing is, if I would only be able to do that, I'd be happy. But there are so many other things that I love and I'd want to do. So are you like that?
I am also like that. But I think it's also, don't you think it's a bit of a generational thing? Because I feel like we're such a distracted generation.
We're so privileged too.
We're so privileged and distracted.
Yeah.
Hella distracted. Because just, like when I'm looking at my parents, they concentrated on one thing, did it well, and then moved on to another thing, did it well, and then moved on. And I think I want to do that. But at the moment, I'm just interested in everything. I'm like a squirrel in the middle of the road. I'm like, where do I go? But
do you feel like that slows you down in your goal pursuit?
To an extent, yes. Honestly, yeah.
I feel the same.
And and I try to channel all my, all all the energy I have and work on this one specific thing and perfect things on the side if I need to, but really go for one thing. And then I feel like I also believe in I don't want to say destiny, right? But there's an end, like there's an end point, and you will get there. It's just like, okay, I'll say there's destiny, and I believe in that. And yes, you will work, and it's going to take you places, but you're going to end up where you either wanted to be or where you had to be, right?
Right. Yeah.
Am I making sense? Yeah.
Yeah, you're making sense. Yeah.
Okay. See, wow, she's so
yourself.
chaotic. I didn't notice that.
No, you're good. Yeah, or because me, when I try, that's what I've learned in my art. Like I need to focus either on my writing or something, and like my goal is to become a writer, an author, and to be like successful in everything. But I also, like, I've learned over the years that I need to focus on one thing, but I've also learned that if I don't do everything I want to do, I feel like I'm not fulfilling myself. And I feel like I'm like missing out on things, and I'm feels like I'm 24. Like, let's laugh at that. You know, that I have hopefully plenty of life to live. But it's weird that you're like, oh, I don't want to be looking back at 50 and be like, I've just messed up everything because I've not done that or this or, you know. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, actually a perfect example comes to my mind. My dad, when he was not even our age, like 18, I think, he wanted to be an actor. And but he couldn't go to Moscow to an acting school because he couldn't afford it, and so he just stayed here. And his first diploma, education is he's a historian.
Right.
But like 40 years later, he did some movies. He started a movie, and he was like, it was a great experience. I loved it. It was great. And he still did it, and he still had fun while doing it, which is great. And, but yeah, I feel the same when it comes to, not just concentrating on one thing only and not doing other things on the side. I feel like, fear of missing out, this constant fear of missing out, it's still there.
Right.
And I really want to do other things apart from what I'm doing right now. And that's why my art is all over the place, because I just want to experiment. I just want to see different things. I want to try different technologies.
Right.
I want to know as much as possible. But also for me, I feel like I want to know the possibilities, where it can go, where it can take me, and what can I do with these methods and methodologies to create a product or to create art. So yeah, I do agree. My stuff is all over the place. But in the end,
it's not a bad thing at all.
It's not. No. I feel like it's a strong point for me because it's versatile, it's diverse, and
I actually agree. I think it defines you in a great way. I think it's great for you.
Yeah, but the fear, the FOMO, the fear of missing out, it's very strong when it comes to making things and not doing things that you want. Yeah,
I'm always like looking at my Instagram bio, and I'm like, oh, I should add this because I'm also this. But you're like, I can't add everything. It's sometimes I'm like, when my book came out, I was only an author. I was like, oh, I'm missing out on other things. I want to do this podcast, so now I'm a podcaster too. But I feel like I'm confusing people all the time because I'm doing so many things.
A creative human being. Here we go.
Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. No, we're just, the skill sets we have, they're so diverse. And I think that's what makes our generation so interesting, is that there's just so many things that everyone's doing.
Yeah. That's why I don't like labels. Because
labels.
I'm not one thing.
Yeah. And why would you define, I feel like there's a universe in every person. And when you come up with definitions, it limits people. Yeah. So, why squeeze, I actually like this, squeezing a mattress into a pillowcase. It's impossible, impractical, and it's just not smart. You can't define a person with just one word.
Right.
There's so many things to a person. I mean, professionally, maybe you do need some definitions, but when it comes to creativity, there's just so many ways and mediums and spheres that you can be creative in. I just like calling myself a creative artist / designer. Yeah. Because even in the art and design field right now, it's just sometimes like they try to define you. Because one time there was a moment when I was like, maybe you're not necessarily an artist, you're more of a designer. I'm like, how about I'm both? Because I feel like it. Because I feel like it doesn't just go into one discipline. I feel like I'm both. And I have a right to define myself.
Yeah.
Whichever the way I like, yeah.
And especially arts that we're creating, especially, it's essential that we know many things. It's essential that we like discover everything we think we'll like, everything we discover will not like. It's important to explore things, because that's how you make better art, in my opinion. And once you know more and once you discover more, it's important. It's going to be so beneficial to your art. And
exactly.
Yeah, if you're just focused on one thing, if you're, because I was at university, and in my first 2 years, I was doing film and media studies, and then I changed to English. But I felt so restricted in that program that I was just only studying film, and I was only like with people that were like so the same goal oriented than me, and like I felt so restricted, like I wasn't learning about anything else. And that's what English did for me. Like I learned about literature, I learned about other worlds, I learned about feminism and the origin and everything. So I think it's important to tell people that if you want to be a creator, it's important to explore and discover and educate yourself. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
And I feel like for writing, it's especially important because, sometimes writers describe things that they didn't even experience themselves, but somehow they know every single detail,
Yeah.
And there's so many incredible artists incredible writers who describe things in so much detail, but then when you ask them, like, did you actually do that? And like, no. I'm like, wow. Because sometimes I read my little brother's things and I'm like, wow, did you actually experience it? Because no, I just read a lot of things and looked at a lot of things. I'm like, whoa, okay. But yeah, I feel like, it's so important to explore things outside of your domain and, be curious. I think it's important to be curious and explore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really important. Yeah. So how do you deal with anxiety with your art?
I don't. Just kidding.
You don't?
I don't. No.
Do you think about it all day when you're doing other things, or how does it work for you?
I feel like I'm doing it like every normal person out there. I just lie in bed at night, think about it.
There's no such thing as a normal person, but yeah. Continue.
Just like, lying down, lying in my bed, like, all the projects that I didn't make. And anxiety, especially right now. I create a list of things that I need to complete. Are you talking about anxiety just in general, or like anxiety that comes with deadlines and such?
Well, you can talk about both. I think both are related, but I'm mostly searching for anxiety through your art. Does it give you anxiety, and how are you dealing with that? No?
I feel like for me,
you're
my
just
art
stress-free every time you do something?
Yeah. You're
not stressing about perfection in your art?
No, I'm stressing. Actually, well, thanks for reminding me. But the source of my anxiety is my goal of perfection. But also, I feel like that's the drawback of universities, that there are always deadlines.
Right.
And that's another form of anxiety. But I feel like, we spoke about, our experiences in high school. For me, dealing with my anxiety was making things and being creative. But right now, as you said, my source of anxiety is my goal of perfection. I'm striving for perfection.
Right.
And that gives me anxiety because when something isn't perfect, I start stressing out because it has to be perfect, right? But
so
it
how
never
do you
is.
deal with it?
I just let it be.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I mean, when
I can't do that.
I just leave it. You just leave it and forget it. No one's ever asked me this question before, but
Well, that's why we're here.
but I think I just leave it for a little bit, and then I go back to it and I revise what I can, and then if I'm still not happy, I leave it again, and then I come back to it. Because if I'm sitting at one project like constantly, like 24/7,
Yeah.
I just get tired of it, and there are some projects that I never finished because I was too stressed, too anxiety ridden and stuff like that. So, giving yourself time to reflect, but also do other things. If you're getting tired of one project, just move on to another thing and then go back to it. I think that's a healthy way of handling things. Yeah, but also give yourself time to rest. Not too much, but allow yourself to rest a little bit.
Sometimes for me, it's hard to move on to another project because I feel there's an anxiety that comes with not finishing things and moving on. I feel like I've done that enough that I just want to finish things. But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just have to. And sometimes it's not even your choice. Sometimes priorities lie elsewhere, and there you go. Yeah. You just got to be okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. And be kind to yourself. I don't want to, this sounds cliche now, right? In 2020.
You're right. But I would also say go with the flow.
Yeah.
Go with the flow, honestly. It works for that. Yeah.
Well, but also,
so what do you do, like when you're not, sorry to cut you off, but what do you do when you're like, you don't want to think about your art, or you just don't want to move on to another project? You're just tired of your art. How do you decompress?
I watch movies. I walk around.
Yeah.
But also just, read things that are not necessarily related to my art, or like, not related to my, profession or anything like that. And I just watch movies and walk around, do sports when possible. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do too. I watch movies. I usually ask my friend what are some feel good films or something. I often, more than that, like just Google feel good film list, and I go down the list. I'm like, nope. And I'm just going through a list, and I have not found anything. But so that's why I guess I have this on this podcast. I call it the feel good game. So what's your feel good movie, I guess?
Okay, it's not necessarily a feel good movie, but I get distracted with horror movies. I love horror movies.
Really? Awesome.
Total junkie. Yeah, when it comes to that, I'm just like, yes, let's watch it. Because you're stressed out. You get stressed out about another thing, and you're like, wow, I'm distracted. I love it.
Oh,
you just get freaked out about other things. But I love the Annabelle universe. Love it. I mean, it's more jump scares than anything, but still great. But not the new one, but this old one, the one with what's his name? Oh my gosh, Alan. No, no. Okay, the old one, the 1997 one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Gerald's Game, Netflix. It's on Netflix. Gerald's Game, great.
That's weird. That's so weird. That movie is so weird.
Oh, it's great. I loved it. It was so great. Yeah.
She wanted to see the podcast.
Oh my gosh, Betty! Hi, so cute. So cute.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cute. She's just beautiful.
So Gerald's Game is weird, really weird.
Yeah, and also Hereditary, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. Midsommar, I didn't really like it, to be honest. It was a little too trippy.
Midsommar? Okay.
Yeah.
With Florence Pugh? Right.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know her name, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's how he said.
Yeah.
So Betty is asking me in my ear, what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show. Oh, I Love You.
Or Feel Good. Sorry. Yeah. I was distracted.
Feel Good.
Feel
See, I'm
good.
like, I seem like a psychopath. Like horror movies distract me, and my favorite feel-good TV show is You.
It's mine too, by the way. But yeah,
It's so good. But I didn't.
have
Didn't
you
like
read the
second
books?
season. No, I haven't. Oh, I should. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I read them in 4 days, both of them.
Oh, I should watch that. Lately, I've been very into like this is big. Chick flicks. Love that. They're quite distracting and stupid enough to watch.
Right.
Sometimes it's just like watching. You're like, okay, I don't need to concentrate or anything like that. I can just listen to things, and it's okay.
Right.
Favorite. I don't really watch TV shows. I'm gonna be honest, but I love the Black Mirror. Again, I'm very into dark themes, as you've noticed. But yeah, Black Mirror, my favorite TV show of all time.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And the favorite episode is San Junipero. Do you watch the Black Mirror?
It's so good.
Yes?
It's so good, that episode.
so
You're
good.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
Hang the DJ also, the second one. Yeah.
Which one is that?
It's the one with there's like a system where if they're like dating, it's like Tinder, and then when they find out how many days they have left, and stuff like that. Do you remember that? Yeah, it's really great. And then USS Callister, incredible. Oh, the Black Museum, also incredible.
Yeah.
Episodes
of that season, I've just watched the U.S. Callister. I've stopped at that. I don't know why I stopped watching Black Mirror, but I stopped. Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I mean, now you have something.
I need
to
to watch it now. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful Sunday. Getting depressed.
So what's a feel-good song or feel-good music that makes you feel good?
Feel-good music. I love Deep House. It's great. Deep House. The Blaze. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's an Algerian French DJ duo. You should listen to it. It's great. Oh, by the way, highly recommend. The Blaze, and my most favorite song is The Territory.
Right.
And you should watch the music video. It's so incredible. It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot, and actually got I think it got Cannes Lions. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a lot of awards because beautiful storytelling, incredible, and the song is incredible. And so many people try copying them afterwards, but nothing compares. It's really good. And feel good songs. Yeah, I don't know. I like many things. I listen to house music, like to classical music. It depends on my mood. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you. Which artist inspires you and why?
Okay. Which artist? I mean, when it comes to like contemporary, Ai Weiwei. Maybe cliche, but Ai Weiwei. I love his works. Can I name an artist I cannot stand?
Yeah. You can do whatever.
Jeff Koons. Oh my gosh. Jeff Koons is just so. Who else? Kusama. I love her works as well. I love her works. Who else?
And why do you love them?
It's just, with Ai Weiwei, it's at times provocative and also anti-state, a lot of times. But also, him working with communities, because the sunflower seed work, it actually employed almost the whole village to make those little sunflowers. Every single piece is made by a person and painted by a person, and everything is made like, all these sunflower seeds are made by people one by one. And that's incredible, and then you're actually in the sea of sunflower seeds. I'm so jealous of people who actually got to experience it themselves, got to experience it like in person. But my dream is to see that kind of work. And also from, digital artists and stuff, I love works of Evan Roth. He actually taught at Parsons as well. He's a Parsons alumni.
Right.
My professors from Parsons, I love their works as well. Like creative technologies and such. I get inspired by people who like actually teach me and that surround me, and Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm not
No,
too
that's
specific.
a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Well,
But my professors, I'm just gonna name them like a quick shout out.
Yeah.
Chris Segru, Benjamin Galong, and others. And Guy Rugo, also incredible artists and designers who love what they do, know what they do, and they did in such a way that it was always interesting, and it was fascinating and interesting that they made us interested in it, or like, they made us interested in that. I think that's the goal for, teachers and professors, that you captivate your student to an extent that they get interested in what you're doing,
Right.
I think that's important. Yeah. So
It's
I'm
really
grateful.
cool. Yeah. You need people like that in your life that inspire you.
For sure.
So is there anything you want to plug? Where can people check you out? And what are you working on that you want to tell people about?
At the moment, I'm keeping all the projects that I'm doing under the covers for now, because
Right.
there are certain procedures that I have to do in order to
Indeed.
get approved by the university. Not even it's a research ethics board. I can't talk about things right now. I mean, I can talk about my plans, but I cannot necessarily, get people involved in my projects yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm working on right now is talk about people's experiences with, repressions and genocide that happened.
You're working with Taco Bell? What are you saying?
Taco Bell? No, I'm sorry.
That's what he said.
What did you think, Taco Bell?
That's what he said.
No, I didn't. I talked about Subway. What are you talking about? No, I'm working with.
Did she say Taco Bell? Yeah, she said.
She did not. I was like, no, stop it. But just at the moment, I can't really talk about things that I'm doing because still working on things and getting things approved. But if you're interested in things that I did before, then you can go on my Instagram. Like a quick shout out to myself.
Yeah. What's your handle will be down there, but what's your website for people to check out?
My website? Oh, sure. It's www.aibolov, BAIBOLOV.com. Yeah.
I'll try to put it on the screen too. So
yeah. And if any of you would like to just chat or talk, feel free to shoot a message. I am quite responsive on every platform, including LinkedIn.
The very kind person that will reply to you. And it's great. You're great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on my podcast, Baibolov. And I will talk again soon because I think you have a really bright future, and you seem very disciplined, and you seem hardworking, and you have great goals. And I can't wait to see what happens with you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
And so are you. I'm so happy and proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is signing off. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to The Very Creative Podcast with Gabriel Veiga. Catch us next week for an all-new episode. To find out more, go to gabrielveiga.com/podcast and follow us on social media at The Very Creative Podcast. To watch on video, go to YouTube and search for The Very Creative Podcast and subscribe. See you next week.